What's up with y'all? Welcome back to Wildmo PG Falconer. Hope everybody's doing well. It's August, which means there's only 1 month left until the 2025-2026 falconry hunting season for my state. This video will be going over what I do to prepare for that, and also my update on my female Siberian Finnish Goshawk imprint diamond. She just finished her molt. She's about to be ready to start hunting another month or two. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get it cracking. Okay, so as you guys know, I'm a state licensed falconer in Maryland. I've been a falconer for 8 years now. I just have my master's falconer permit probably next year. But yeah, so like I said, this video will be going over what I do to prepare for the upcoming hunting season in the next couple months. So the hunting season in Maryland, it lasts from September 1st through March 31st, but I won't start hunting until October 1st. One, because it's still gonna be hot outside and it's gonna be very uncomfortable for me and the bird. Another thing is the leaves will still be on the tree very heavily, so all the cover will still be quite in abundance. So that will make it hard for the bird to actually like fly through the trees, and it'll be hard for me to see the bird, keep up with the bird while hunting. So like I said, I'm not gonna start hunting until October 1st. But like I said, this video will be going over what I do to prepare for the molts. Well, I'm sorry, prepare for after the molt's over, and what I do to prepare before we start hunting in the fall. And also I will be going over some tips and tools you may need if you're looking forward to getting into falconry, some tips on how to find a sponsor, some basic things you need to know before you even consider becoming a falconer in your state. But yeah, let me show you guys the hawk real quick. All right guys, like I said, this is Diamond. She is a 50-50 Siberian Finnish Goshawk imprint. I raised her from 19 days old. She's going on her second year. She's just now finishing her molt. This is her enclosure. She's in a 8x12 modified almond shed with a bars, with two barred windows, one right there, and it's part of state regulations for falconry. But like I said, I'm going to be hunting some squirrels, rabbits, and hopefully I can catch a duck or two with her in the fall and the winter during falconry season. But yeah, like I said, just finished molting, and like any falcon bird, most falcon birds, they molt every spring and summer, and that works in our favor too, because we don't hunt during the spring and summer, mostly because of state regulations, and we give these birds a break. We call it the off season. But like I said, she has a perch right there, a bowl, water bowl, toy for enrichment, and another high perch right there. You can also put a camera right there. Shout out my falconry apprentice and his dad, Team Woods Edge Falconry. They put that up there for me a couple months ago. But yeah, there she is, and she's still fat, which means she's not very cooperative right now. She won't really do much for you, but try to like freak out when you get close to her. But right now she's almost finished her molt, so she's being silly. Yeah, so she's very beautiful. She's my first accipiter, first imprint accipiter I've ever raised and trained and successfully hunted with all on my own. So I'm very proud of myself for doing that. But yeah, we're gonna let her finish chilling in here when we feed her in a minute. But yeah. Yeah, so like I said, that was Diamond. She's almost finished her molt. And like I said, most falcon birds, they molt every spring and summer. And what that does is they shed all their old feathers out from the previous season. If they're juveniles, they shed their juvenile feathers out, and the adult feathers come in the following year. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be more stronger, less susceptible to break-in, as easy as the juvenile feathers are. But yeah, like I said, these are her old juvenile feathers from last season. And I'm looking forward to her reaching maturity, so she's more experienced and more of a capable falconry bird and more determined to catch stuff. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be going over certain things in this video, like how I got into falconry, what we do before the season starts, and give you guys some tips on what to do if you want to become a falconer in your state or region. So let's go back to my workshop and go from there. All right, so guys, we're back at my workshop now. So like I said, I'm going to be going over things that you should know and you should know going forward if you're looking forward to becoming a falconer in your state, country, or region. First thing, the very definition of falconry, it is the art of hunting wild game in its natural habitat by means of a trained bird of prey. So basically, it's a hunting sport. The sport is surrounded by hunting. We're using the bird's natural instinct, natural capability of hunting small game, like rabbits, squirrels, ducks, crows, pigeons, any other small game animal that you may come across in the wild. We're using that bird to actually hunt that animal, and the bird knows how to hunt. The bird knows how to chase and grab and hold on to the prey. But like I said, in the United States, where I'm in Maryland. If you guys don't know, I'm in Maryland. In the United States, all birds that are migratory or native to the United States are protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. That means that any bird any live bird, any bird part, any bird carcass, any bird feather, they're fairly protected. So legally, you're not allowed to trade, possess, sell, attempt to sell, barter. You can't have anything that has to do with a wild migratory bird in the United States. That includes raptors. So another reason. So falconry, like I said, that's the main reason why it's so regulated in the United States. So to become a falconer in the United States, most states will require you to take a 100 to 150 question exam issued by a state's Fish and Wildlife or Department of Natural Resources. And basically that exam covers everything from the biology, the husbandry, the history, the equipment, the healthcare, the hunting strategies, anything that you might come across in your career as a falconer. That test has all those questions, and you want to really take your time and study that test. That test is not to be taken lightly. I got my license in 2018, but before I got my license, I took that exam 3 times. But yeah, 3 times. And back then, the first time sorry guys, my phone cut out. But like I said, the first time I took that exam, I got a 70. And depending on where you are, most states will require you to have at least an 80% to pass. That's a passing score. So like I said, my state's questions were 100. There were 100 questions. I took a test 3 times. First time I got a 70. Second time I got a 76. Third time I got 81. That was a passing score. I was very happy. But like I said, once you pass your exam, you construct your facilities, your mews. That facility will be used to home your hawk. So your hawk will stay in there, and basically it'll be as a enclosure. And you're required to have a weathering yard. A weathering yard is basically a building separate from the actual indoor mews. It's basically an area where the bird can sit out on a perch and sun himself or take a bath whenever it needs to without worrying about being attacked by other predators like foxes or feral cats or any other wild bird of prey that may be in the area. But like I said, required to have those 2 things, and you can either build them or buy them. I bought mine, but I modified it a bit for the state regulations. And once you have it all set up, you get a call from a DNR officer to come and inspect it. The inspection will take place, and once you pass the inspection, have all your equipment, you can go. Your license comes in the mail or through email, depending on what your state regulations are, and you're legally allowed to go trap your first juvenile bird of prey out the wild. Most people go with the red-tailed hawk. I wouldn't want the red-tailed hawk, but some people choose American kestrels or red-shouldered hawks. But a lot of people, they'll tell you to go with the red-tailed hawk. But yeah, like I said, that's the whole process of how it works from the beginning. But the pros and cons are always going to be there. Let's talk about the cons first. The cons are falconry is very expensive. These birds are living animals. They're not like guns or bow and arrows. You can just throw in the corner and not associate yourself with them for months until hunting season comes around. They're living animals. They require tentative care, vet bills if needed. You have to make sure their enclosure stays clean. You have to make sure they have fresh water. All the requirements are written down in the state regulations, all because they want the bird to be safe and comfortable and in good care with the falconer. So most laws are taking place revolving around the safety and the well-being of the falconry bird. But like I said, falconry is not easy. It's not like having a pet hawk all day. It's not something you just do for fun. You can do it for fun, but there's more to it than that. So you really have to take your time and analyze your current life situation and really decide if you really want to do it. I've been a falconer for 8 years. I'm still learning new things. I'm still adjusting, making life changes as time comes. But yeah, like I said, those are basically the things. And if you're not comfortable with hunting, this falconer probably not for you. You can join a bird banding group or work at a nature center or zoological facility, a rehab center. But falconry is a hands-on hunting sport. Things will die and the bird will be used to catch wild animals and eat them eventually. You have to have a freezer. You have to have all the equipment. You can buy it or make it, do whatever you feel is more comfortable for you. You have to learn certain things. You have to learn how to hunt, learn how to scout game areas. So it's not all just about keeping Sorry, my phone keeps cutting out, but like I said, it's not all about just keeping a bird in the shed all day or in the enclosure all day. But yeah, like I said, if you got the time, money, life situation right now, if you really want to take up falconry, the first thing I recommend you doing is looking up your state's Department of Natural Resources or Fish and Wildlife Service if you're in a state that allows falconry. Falconry is legal in most of the country. The only places it's illegal, I believe, is Hawaii. It's Hawaii and Washington, D.C., sorry. But yeah, so if you have the time, money, energy, and life obligations that accommodate falconry, go for it. Yeah, the first thing you'll want to find is a sponsor. A sponsor is somebody who is at least a general class or master class falconer, and you'll be their apprentice for 2 years. During that 2 year apprenticeship, you learn the tools of the trade, you stick with them as much as you can, gain as much knowledge as you can. You can have a bird during that time period, but most sponsors will make you do certain things before you get a bird, just to make sure you're serious and know what you're doing, know how to handle yourself in the field, and have the discipline enough to actually work with a wild caught bird. But yeah, you find a sponsor, they'll sign the application, and yeah, go from there basically. But falconry laws vary slightly from state to state, so don't take my word on this verbatim. Your state might be a little bit different, but in Maryland, that's how it works in Maryland. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, I've been a falconer for 8 years, and it gets better and better each year. I'm looking forward to the coming season. But yeah, I'm gonna show you right now what I do to prepare for the season. All right, so here we have my tackle box of the falconry equipment that I'm making by. And one thing I want to do is make sure all my equipment is up to code and sturdy enough so it won't break when I'm using it in the field come the fall. So I have my jesses. These are kangaroo hide jesses I made recently. These are muse jesses. Muse jesses have the long slits in them. And these are not used when we're flying free. These are used being tethered, and the bird's gonna be tethered with these. And the reason for that is the long slit may catch on a branch or a twig or something, may make the bird get tangled in a tree, God forbid. But these are flight jesses. Now flight jesses are more safer because they only have a small hole. Like I was saying, flight jesses, they're safer because they have a small hole on the tips right there, and that's less likely for it to get caught on a branch or a piece of brush that the bird is hunting through. And like I said, they're kangaroo hide leather. Kangaroo hide is very reliable in falconry because it's strong, but it's very, very light. It takes a lot for it to get ripped or torn, but it's light, so that won't weigh the bird down when it's flying through the air. Along with the jesses, I make every, in the summer before the season, I make some fresh ones of those. And I make some new anklets. Now anklets, they can be removable or they can be permanent with a grommet setter, but I use the removable kind for the most part. And these go around the bird's legs and they feed through the slits on each other. And this is called an Alamary jet system. So once the anklets are wrapped around the bird's legs, the jesses slide through, and they can slide one off depending on which ones you want to use. But yeah, so I make new equipment every in the summer for the season. So that's what I do to prepare for the upcoming season. Also, what we do, we also exercise our bird. So a lot of people think that we can just take the bird back out hunting right away. That's not how it works. So after the bird is finished its molt, after the season's right around the corner, we take the bird out the mews, out of its enclosure, let her get familiarize herself with us again, and we exercise it, do flight training sessions again. So basically, we do a refresher after the end of every summer before the season starts, in order to make sure the bird is comfortable enough and make sure the bird is still sharp and not in bad shape for the hunting season. So we gotta make sure the bird still get exercise and still gets mentally and physically prepared to hunt again for the coming season. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's what I do, and this is the video. But like I said, I'm getting a new GoPro camera soon. More videos on the way. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate you guys. Also, I have a song called Locked On Game I've written and I've already put out for the Sporting Chance podcast. So if you guys want to check that video out or check that song I recently dropped, please check the description and the links in my bio. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Once again, I appreciate every single one of y'all. More videos on the way. Y'all stay blessed. Enjoy the rest of y'all summer. Take it easy.